Okay, if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in those fancy light up LED light bars for your four-wheelers or side-by-sides. I was really curious if we could make it work on the four-wheeler. We have a YFC 450 here. It does come with two light whips, so we're just gonna have to do this trial and error and see if I have to use both of them or if we only have to use one. I mean, because I only want to use one if possible. This is primarily made for side-by-sides, and that's usually what you're gonna see them on, but I kind of want to go outside the box, see if I can make it work on my four-wheeler. If we can, awesome. If we can't, I'll be sure to share that information with you and then show you it on a side-by-side. But I really want to see if I can make it work on a four-wheeler because you don't see them on four-wheelers that often. So let me go ahead and show you what they sent me, and then we'll start pulling everything out of the box and see if it works. Okay, so this is what's going to be in the box. It's like some type of plugs. Some of this won't make sense until we get it all out. See, here's like the wiring harness. So this is what's going to end up going to your batteries. And then looks like there's two options here. So we're definitely going to have to read the instructions, make sure we're wiring this up right. Because what these should be connected to is the fun part. So let's pull these out. Okay, so these are the whips. Held together pretty well with these little plastic things. And then when you do order these, do keep in mind that they do have these in different lengths. So they have short ones, 2 foot, 3 foot. They have them in all different lengths. So it looks like they do come wired together, but you could just unscrew the one if you only wanted to use one. That's what we're going to try and do. Let's pop these open. So there's one whip. This is where your flag will actually be put on. So this is needed at sand dunes. So whenever you go out to sand dunes, pretty much anywhere that has dunes is going to require a flag just so that you're seen going up and over hills and whatnot. But how are you going to be missed with this freaking LED strip? And it does have, they do mention this on their listing. This is very flexible, so I don't really have anything to bend this on, but when we hook it on, I'll show you how well this bends. But very high quality, heavy duty. This is the bolt you'd use to put it on, so I like how they have that because it could fit right inside of here. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. So it's going to get mounted somewhat like that. So let's try not to drop this. Let's pull this other one off. So there's the two light whips. Pretty straightforward. Let's see what the flags look like. So you got Unleash Your Speed ×2. There's 2 of all of these. Off-road with a side-by-side. That's pretty cool. And then the standard American flags. So those are pretty cool. Seem like pretty high quality. Then let's see. It does, okay. So it does come with a switch. So if you have a side-by-side, up in your dash, usually you're going to have a blank spot, and you'll be able to put this in there. If you already have a switch on your side-by-side, you would just run these wires to the switch that you already have if you didn't want to use this one. But if you don't, there's the switch for it. And those come with all the connectors we're going to need. And then on a four-wheeler, this may or may not be harder or easier. We don't know yet. But here's the remote to run it. So after we get it put on, you'll be able to go through all these different modes. Looks like there's a ton of different options. So we'll see what that looks like once we get it all hooked up. And last but not least, the instructions that we go to when we can't figure it out. So here's the instructions. Let's see. Yep. So all your layouts for the wiring and whatnot. Looks like you might have, I wonder if there's an app. I think there might be an app for this too. So, yep, that's pretty much it. So let's see if we can make this work on this four-wheeler. Okay, so believe it or not, I've been reading the instructions, and one thing that they do say is hook it all up just to make sure that you don't find out any surprises. So if you end up running all your wires and everything and you see an issue, you're not already, really far in. So they do say just hook it up outside the box, hook it up to your battery, make sure everything works. So in my case, as I was looking into this more, this is more for the side-by-side side. So over here with all the cables or the attachments, this is for your brakes and blinkers and all that stuff, which we do not have on the four-wheeler. So all we're really going to need to worry about is the power. And on mine, I just went ahead and pinched in these just quick connects here so I can just go directly on the battery. On my four-wheeler, the battery is literally right here on top. So when we hook this up, these should turn on if everything is working as it should. So I loosened these up so we wouldn't have to sit there and watch me do that, but righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and wire this up and see if the lights turn on. Make sure you're doing red on red, black on black. Oh, I see some lights. Success. So they are working. See, here they are. So hooking up to the battery, it is go time. So let's hit the remote and see if it changes here. I'm gonna give you a better angle. Hold on. So just give you a close up. This is what I did. I just hooked it up to the battery, added the little connectors. So we're gonna end up having to put all of the wires in here when we're done. But so it literally hooks into here, goes right to the box. I'm not gonna end up using these sides, but so here they are. So let's put you on the tripod. And the remote, let's see how this works. So turn it off, on. So it looks like it might just come into some random mode when you're first turning it on. Let's see. There's 1, 2. So there's just tons of modes. Well, that one looks kind of like fire. Check. 7. Oh yeah. That one's 6. Pretty cool. 5. 9. Wonder if you put it on there and then we hit blue. Oh, maybe this is just solid colors. 11. Oh, it looks like Christmas. Oh yeah, that's the Christmas one. 12. It's like the whole spectrum of colors. DIY 1. So it does have an app that you can use. So if you lose this, you're not, you don't have to carry this around in your back pocket to keep changing this. If you have your phone, you'll connect your phone to it, and then you'll be able to do the same thing with your phone. So it is working. So let's see how we're going to mount it. Okay, so when we go to mount this, so you don't want all this stuff in your way while you're working. That's going to be making it a lot harder. So this does have a quick disconnects on the electrical. So you literally just unscrew it, unplug it. So now we're not connected to all these wires. So now we can mount these separately. And then while I'm showing you this, another thing that can make this even easier is there's also a disconnect here. So boom, you can take the light whip right off. So if you don't want to use it, it's literally just plug and play. You can take this whole thing off your four-wheeler or side by side, and this is the only thing that will be attached. So super convenient. So let's mount this baby. Okay, so one thing that I do want you guys to be aware of, I'm going to be mounting mine right here, and there's a reason for that. I'm mounting it right here because this is the flag holder that I don't use. I use this one over here, this red one, and I use this one because this flag, when I use the full like 6-foot flags, I can't remember if it's 6 or 7 feet, I don't know, but the sand dunes kind of requires like a height on your flag, and the ones that I got aren't tall enough to go on a four-wheeler that would be like way above your head. So for me, this one's just kind of for fun, and it looks awesome, and it still works as a flag holder. But my main flag that I'll be using will be this one over here. But they do make these things super tall. So if you wanted to do it on a four-wheeler as your only flag, just check and see how big the flag needs to be wherever you're going riding and see if that will be the right size. So I'm going to run 2 flags. I'm going to use this one and the one over here. So I'll show you what that looks like when we're done. If I'm going riding somewhere where I don't need a flag, I might put one here and here, or I might just buy another one of these connectors that I have on this one and put it over here, and then I could have them both kind of like evenly spaced on the grab bar. But literally that easy, right in the normal flag hole for a 4-wheeler, tightened on. So let's go ahead and test it out. There it goes, pops in. So now that it's stuck on there, nice and tight. So all we have to do is run the wires and connect this, and literally it's done, like literally that fast. So let's take a look and see where I want to end up putting all these wires in the box, because I'm going to have to make it fit under the seat. Alrighty, the moment of truth. So I ran my wires under here. It's going to be different for everybody's 4-wheeler, so I didn't really show you that. So just run your battery or your wires from your battery all underneath your 4-wheeler and get it to where you're going to be able to plug it in. So here's mine right here, and this is the plug. So we're going to wait to plug that in. So let's put the seat on. Make sure you're not pinching any wires before you put your seat on, or else it goes snappy snap and it will not work. So plug this in right here, moment of truth. Make sure that when you're plugging it in that you're lining this up, because there is a right and wrong way to put this in. Do not force it. So goes in, slide the little metal fastener on, get the threads lined up, tighten it on. We are good to go. Now let's go ahead and put Old Glory up here. I'm going to do the American flag, wherever that ended up. So again, it comes with a bunch of flags. As a reminder, you got the American flag, the skull, unleash your speed, and then I really like this one. If I was putting it on side by side, I'd probably use this one. This one's really cool. But comes with tons of flags. I'm going to go ahead and put on this one, so and show you how to do that. So putting the flag on, literally just put it on little hooks. Make sure you don't put it on upside down. So that's how the flag would go. Mama bringing snacks. It's working really hard. Thanks for the snacks. Fantastic. Okay, we got the flag on. We got it mounted. We got it hooked up. Everything is ran to where it's supposed to be. I want to do a nice reveal. So know what we're going to do? We're going to wait till it gets dark. So I'm not even going to turn it on while it's on the 4-wheeler, although you can see this thing awesome even when it's daylight outside, as you saw in the earlier videos when it was running. But let's wait till it gets dark. I'll push it outside, and then we'll really see what it looks like. Three, two, one. Lights, camera, action. Boom. Guys, this thing is so freaking bright. Like, you seen it was pitch dark out here. It's lighting up the whole shop. So, yes, this thing is super bright. Probably going to kill my freaking battery without it running. But here's a few modes. Firework. Super cool. And you can speed it up and slow it down on like how fast these are going. So there is a speed mode, but guys, this thing is so cool. It is. I don't even know if this is doing it justice. This thing is super bright. So if you're worried about it not being very bright, this is only with one. If you have two, putting this on a side by side, the thing would be so bright. It'd be like freaking headlights. So this thing is freaking awesome. And yes, you can install it on a 4-wheeler. It's not just for side-by-sides. You just got to wire it up a little bit differently. And you can use just one of the lights. You don't have to use both if you don't want to. So this thing turned out so sick.